I just watched the new Planet of the Apes movies and it was kinda meh, not gonna lie. Now I would say that I'm a pretty big fan of the Planet of the Apes movies. Well, at least the modern trilogy. I don't really like the monkey on human action that was infamous with the originals, and the Tim Burton one. The less said about Tim Burton, the better. The first movie I would let my friend describe as a kid's movie in the beginning, where it has kid movie cliches, but towards the end of the movie it makes it that more powerful of a juxtaposition and tone that deserves its ending. The second movie I think is better than the rest because it actually has an interesting story of little fuck-ups adding up to a war, and the main villain and Caesar are both entertaining from their morals alone. The third Planet of the Apes movie, I'll get into that some other time. I like Caesar's journey in the original trilogy, so I was really curious on how they can start a new trilogy, and if this is the start, then I'm scared to see what's at the end. Now for the most part, I really enjoyed the beginning of this movie. I like the idea of Caesar's words of wisdom from the last movies as some sort of game of telephone where people are sort of misinterpreting what Caesar said and misinterpret what he truly believed in, because in the end, they can never truly know what he thought, because it was so long ago. And plus he's dead. Oh no, I spoiled a movie that is 7 years old. Oh my god, it's 7 years old. What the fuck? It's interesting seeing a sort of cult that used the word of Caesar to seem like they're doing something justified to disguise the fact that they're doing something terrible. I'm pretty sure this is a metaphor for extremely religious people using the word of God to do terrible shit to other communities, but that was my interpretation of it. But if that is the message, then that's actually a really brave statement to make, and I don't really see a lot of movies playing that out, even though we have so many examples of that. But anyway, I like the Rocka character. He has this pacifistic look at the war between the humans and the apes, and all he wants for them is to somehow coexist with one another. I find it cute that orangutan was the one to continue Caesar's true intentions, which implies that the orangutan from the other movie that was close to Caesar probably taught what Caesar truly was. I like that. The CGI looks pretty good, but there is some parts where it looks kind of wonky, and the ending shot I like because it says a lot without showing anything. It makes you wonder if they were looking at the moon or seeing something in the distance. It's simple, but I like that. Those were the positives. Realize how short they were? Now starting with the negatives. And trust me, I have a lot. I don't really think that the main monkey is a good replacement for Caesar. He just feels like a diet version of him. He doesn't really have a personality, and all he does is bitch and moan. Oh yeah, and he reacts. He reacts a lot. Don't forget that. Where is his distinct personality? Where are his beliefs that make him different from Caesar? I want to give this character a chance, but I already saw a better version of this character in the other movies. Give me a different character, please. Right after I watched the film, I forgot his fucking name, and even recording this, I forgot his name, and I just checked it. Except for the character Rocka, because at least he's a fucking character. He's more of a Caesar replacement than the main fucking character. There are so many inorganic set pieces that it feels like a video game at times. Press X, press X, fuck. The main villain in this movie is a diet version of Koba, but it's weird because even though you can get behind why Koba is angry, he is an interesting and conflicting character that rivals Caesar's more sympathetic beliefs. You have sympathy for Koba, but you don't have empathy. You can get why he developed into that character, but you can also not agree with him. The villain here is just eh. He only did like 2 evil things in the movie, but that's pretty much it. But this villain sort of makes it to where you mainly want to side with him, because why would they let the humans rise up again if they already saw the damage that they left behind? Is it just because one of the main characters is a human, so therefore we have to relate to them? She wants to actively suppress the monkeys again, just like the people did in the last movies. Why should we side with her? She just wants to continue the cycle of oppression. Why can't they coexist and have the same fucking supplies? There are also some things that are minor that add up to an annoying experience. There's a lot of Marvel moments in this movie where they reveal characters as if they're Tony fucking Stark. The whole middle part of the movie was filled with both a lot of stuff but very little substance to cling on to. It made the middle just feel very boring and filler, like the movie is playing on autopilot. Don't get me started on the main goal. The main goal is so fucking stupid, at least how it plays out. The whole goal is to get into this vault where there are supplies that the monkeys want to get to first. So the monkeys sort of used as a prison as a way to sort of chip away at this vault. So they went during the night, snuck into the vault, opened the main entrance, and were amazed that all the monkeys monkeys were there at the other end, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? That the monkeys would just fuck off in the end? What is your thought process? You even add a trap that doesn't make sense in the end. You just simply thought that they weren't going to be there in the morning time, or just wake up at all. I'm sorry, but you deserve to get caught. That's such a stupid fucking idea. It's a scene that reveals that the human character was gonna let them take the supply, so in response, the second villain character goes after the main character, but none of the monkeys went after her? Huh? I mean, I know that it's because he trusted a human, but how the fuck was he gonna know about that? He didn't know that that was gonna happen, which I mean is a bit stupid, but I mean, he didn't know that was gonna fucking happen. And don't get me started on that ending. How the fuck do you expect me to react to a main villain of the story dying to a flock of birds? I fucking laughed. How is this in any way a good ending to your movie? It would have been very cliched to make the whole squad of monkeys rise up bug life style and beat him up, but a flock of birds killing the main villain? I'm sorry, but that destroys any sort of intimidation that he had, because now he just looks like a dumbass. That's how a shitty D-list kids movie ends, not a PG-13 movie. Oh, and the human character was so forgettable that I almost forgot about her. What's her character like? I don't know. Seems like she was only there to create conflict. It's sort of like the third movie where they added like a little girl and there's just no point to it. Just like in that movie, she sort of just exists until she made like that stupid decision in the end that is supposed to make us root for her, even though I wasn't really rooting for her. She seemed more like a villain than anything. She's a more compelling villain than the actual villain. But weirdly, she's not posed as a villain, which is weird. I think the biggest punch in the gut is that this is 2.5 hours long. Fucking ow. I cannot find a single reason of why this movie has to be this long. I feel like a lot of this movie can be condensed down to 2 hours. Hell, I would even go a step further and say 1 hour and 40 minutes. I actually feel like they purposely overblowed this movie to seem as if it was a greater and grander story. Instead, it makes the majority of the movie feel like it's extremely unneeded. At this point, the movie should be charged for loitering because it's just overstaying its fucking welcome. I feel like when I come back to this movie, it's gonna be harder and harder for me to actually watch this because it's just so filler. I hate how this movie is just a repeat of the third movie where it's just a generic prison escape movie, down to the unneeded human character. It just feels like there's barely anything new here. It feels like it's just playing the greatest hits of the original trilogy without actually adding anything new. Remember the bridge scene? We have that. Remember when they were in prison? We have that. Remember Koba? We have that. Remember when the main villain's prison got knocked out by a natural disaster? We got that. We got that. Would call this plagiarism, but I don't know how you can steal from yourself. My last complaint is pretty crucial: the lack of sign language in this movie. Now, one of the biggest things about the original trilogy is that it used sign language. It's a big thing because a lot of movies at the time didn't really use subtitles. So, to the deaf and sign language community, that was a pretty big win. And plus, it was just really cool seeing it on screen. But this movie, for the most part, just goes, nope, fuck you, deaf community, that makes up a big portion of our fucking audience. I mean, there is here and there, but it wasn't crucial to the story. Which you can use the argument, oh, well, they're more evolved now, and they can speak in full sentences now. Okay, if you're only gonna use it for a little bit, why not use it for the majority of the fucking movie? And even if they were evolved, people still fucking use sign language. I don't know, I just think that's an excuse to not teach people proper sign language to actually have it represented on screen. And it's sad that they mainly ditched it in this movie. If Barbie can do a completely sign language version of their movie, which they didn't have to, but they did, then your ass can definitely fucking do it. Why would you implement it and then down the line not fucking use it? I see that as very disingenuous. But those are all the negatives. It's a movie that introduces some nice ideas and then quickly ditches them in favor of adding stupid filler. It constantly wants to say something but always backpedals on it. It's interesting at best, but genuinely idiotic at worst. I would say that it's at least better than the third one because the tone was more consistent with the tone that was established in the first two movies, because they don't add comedy in a movie that doesn't need it.
Oh no! Why so small? Oh.
It's not really that much different in quality than the third one. I still kinda see it as a disappointment. I would describe it like Kung Fu Panda 4. Disappointing fourth entry in a franchise that is begging to be put down. So I'll be giving it a 4.5 out of 10. It's a really rough start to a trilogy so far. Anyway, subscribe if you want to, like if you want to, even comment if you want to. I don't care, you do you, and have a good day. Here's some outtakes to listen to. The whole middle part of the movie was filled with both a lot of stuff, but very little stubs. Oh my fucking god. They made the biddle. The biddle. The holy biddle. I find it cute that orangutan was the one to continue Caesar's true intentions, which implies that the fuck.